everybody. Thanks for tuning in to NeverEndingRadicalDude.com. My name's Jason Fury. I'm here with Mark Espinosa and Derek Hansen. Say hi.
Hey.
Hi.
Thanks. Moving on. What we're doing here is we're going to piece apart. Is that how you say it? Piece apart?
Break down?
We're going to break down.
Thank you. We're going to break down the latest Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens teaser trailer that premiered here where we are at the Anaheim, California
Star Wars Celebration
2015.
2015.
This is a big deal. Okay, so
okay, seriously, all right.
I want to say,
Yes.
Derek and I were in the panel live
Yes.
at the convention, and I have to say that was probably the best moment of this convention. I was literally in tears.
Definitely. I felt very awkward at the time because I was like, ooh, and then I look over and everybody else is doing it. So it captured the child in everyone.
Yeah. I was home. Okay, so Jason and Derek showed up on Thursday. Exactly. I got here on Friday, but I watched the trailer be released on Thursday, and I was watching it on my computer, and I got super emotional. And I was like, wow, this is it's really good. I mean, it just kind of brings a really, profound, wow, this is Star Wars done really beautifully. It's great.
It's great. I think the thing that this trailer did specifically, which is what we'll get into in a little bit, what we have in front of you right now is a screen grab. I think this really tugged at the nostalgia strings for me.
Oh, so what are we going to do? We're going to break down the trailer, we're going to do screenshots, and then we're going to talk about what we see on the screen, right?
You got it.
You nailed.
So what you see right now is the first scene. So let's just jump right into this. Okay. So here is where we are. Everybody assumes this is Tatooine, correct?
Correct.
But we're wrong, correct?
Correct.
We learned that being here at the Star Wars Celebration.
The whole idea that you see a planet that's covered in desert sand.
Okay.
Thinks that it's the only planet. But no, so what is this planet?
At the panel, they said other planets have sand. So we get it. Other planets have sand. This is what? Jakku? Jakku? I'm not sure yet, but that's what it's called.
It's Jakku, and it will be a downloadable content if you pre-order the Battlefield
video game.
Battlefield game? Okay.
Yeah.
So the Battlefield video game coming out by EA is official canon, and then they're saying it's going to tie into the movies, the downloadable content, and it's going to show the Battle of Jakku. And I guess this is probably, I'm assuming, part of the aftermath of that.
Yeah.
And it's
because you can see the X-Wing has crashed. And,
I didn't see that. Yeah.
And then in the foreground you have the Star Destroyer.
Yeah. So I think that's interesting because after Jedi is the Battle of Endor, right? And you think that'll wars happen after the Battle of Endor?
Well, of course, because it created a power vacuum. Because you have the main set, the Emperor's right there. He gets killed, but that's not it. The whole fleet wasn't right there.
Yeah,
it's spread out through the entire galaxy.
So battles happened after Jedi.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right, and they said this takes place. The Battle of Jakku was about a year after the Battle of Endor, so we're still pretty close after Return of the Jedi. But I imagine with Battlefront we'll get to see why this is.
Have they established the time frame between Jedi and Force Awakens, or
it's 30 years?
30 years.
30 years. Okay,
yeah, I think that's official.
That's enough time for a lot of battles to happen.
All right, let's move on. Let's see what's the next shot we got here. So,
okay.
Jinx. No play object.
Totally is here.
Hey.
Oh. Okay.
Right.
So we're seeing the charred remains of Darth Vader's mask.
Is there skeleton in there?
I think it's just the way the mask burned.
Well, was his head in the mask when it burned?
Yes, actually, it was.
But
so there could be skull in there.
Was the bonfire even hot enough
to burn the mask?
To burn bone.
Or did they take the body out and then just burn the mask as a symbol of darkness?
And then the question remains, but then also if the time frame between Jedi and Force Awakens was 30 years, why is now the charred remains of Darth Vader's mask?
Yeah, he's had that for a while.
Well, there was a rumor going around that there was a cult of Vader that had come up. And so maybe this is what it is.
So who do you think owns this helmet?
Well, it'd be a little creepy for his son to have it.
I mean, he was the only one standing there. He might have swiped it at the end of Return of the Jedi there.
Very true.
My bet is Luke. Like, Luke has held on to it for some kind of weird
Sentimental
reminder, sentimental reason, yeah.
Yeah, just that's weird. This is kind of a weird shot, to be honest.
Or it could be the Sith himself. If he is a Sith, we don't know.
Or like what you were saying earlier at the convention, like maybe a Sith took some of the remnants from the fire and cloned the body.
Yeah,
that's something Derek was saying earlier.
Yeah.
Maybe this is something they had. I don't know. That's a long shot.
I can't handle the fact that like they've somehow cloned.
Well, cloning,
the DNA of
cloning isn't that extreme within this universe.
Ugh, I know.
I mean, we had it with the non-canon Star Killer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
and 5 words really sum it up. Dad, Tone Wee is here.
all right. Next shot.
All right, sorry, my bad.
Jason successfully moved us on. Oh, great shot. Oh, we actually have. Okay, so we haven't really talked about the fact that Luke Skywalker has been narrating the whole trailer.
Right. Luke's narrating this, and he's checking R2's fever right now. He's, all right, we'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah. I mean, I will say I'm very happy about the fact that Mark Hamill's voice has been very un-Joker-ish the entire trailer.
It's Luke Skywalker again.
It's Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
And it feels good to hear. You know, we don't see his face in this trailer, but we do hear his voice again, and it's old Lukey boy.
Yeah. Is it? It may not be him.
Well,
okay.
Oh.
Ooh. Well, I think it's safe to assume it's him, but you know, it could be. I think what's more interesting
the
is
robotic right hand.
Well, he has a robotic right hand. So did Vader. So who says?
Don't do this to me, Derek.
You think that's
don't do it to me.
You think that's the clone of Vader?
No, well,
you're not canceling it out.
I'm not canceling it out.
Okay, let's assume.
I'm also not canceling out that Luke may have become the next villain.
Well, okay, that's a good point
too. Yeah.
Let's assume that it's Luke. He is wearing kind of a dark. It looks like a Jedi cloak that he had, but he's got a white sleeve.
But I mean, like if you look at the photo we're looking at,
Villains
it's like
the stormtroopers wear white.
Yeah, but it's also
I'm just saying it's
interesting
not the
parallel
cloak.
to have like a black cloak, but like a white sleeve. Like it's very like yin yangy, you know. So like,
pick a side?
Yeah.
True.
And then it's also, I mean, I kind of want to hope that like
there was definitely a conflict within Luke, especially in Return of the Jedi, and Vader as well as the Emperor saw this, as well as Yoda and Ben, and so they played on that. He was the tipping point for which way the light or dark would go. So yeah, as you said, there's that yin and yang there.
Yeah, I mean, I would love the fact that like R2-D2 hung out with Luke because Luke was good. I would hate to think that Luke was bad and still like enslaving R2-D2.
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
and also let's call it. It's a robot.
Yeah, but I mean, he's expressed. I mean, over the course of 6
That's
movies, we've
more
seen
the
that
fans,
he's more.
I guess. But
I would say R2 has some form of consciousness. Seeing if we've watched the Clone Wars and all that whatnot.
All right. Well, moving on.
Moving on.
Okay. So the narration is saying that. Oh, we haven't talked about the narration. So, obviously, it's Luke talking. He's talking about the Force. He's saying that I have the Force.
My father has
the Force.
Yeah, you picked that up.
Which is interesting because his father obviously died.
He's not talking in the past tense.
Yeah, there's no past tense.
My father has the
Force,
Force, which is weird. So either it's not attentive writing, or there's something to that.
Or there's the idea that, like, you know, Ben Kenobi, when he died, he still talked to Luke. He, you know, trained him through
Maybe
Empire
he's just,
and Jedi. Once, like, it's still the idea of, like, they die, but they're still around. So, like, my father is dead, but he still has the Force flowing through
So you're
him.
saying that they have a higher level of consciousness that a simpleton like me can never understand.
Well, you could try to explain it, but you would never understand it because
I could also argue that, all right, so Obi-Wan had the training that Yoda gave him, and Yoda also learned how to become a physical manifestation later on.
Visit you when I die, I will.
from Qui-Gon Jinn. So how would Anakin have this?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
This is what this does to me. This image, when I see it, is it makes me interested in this 30-year gap. Does Leia become a Jedi?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, Marvel Comics has taken on the ranks of, like, explaining the stories between the movies.
But the Princess Leia
Not
is
here,
just a
at least.
5-part miniseries, and it's dealing with getting closure on Alderaan getting blown to smithereens.
Yeah,
That's it.
But we don't know what happened in the course of 30 years. Leia could have hypothetically trained with Luke at one point in like
become a Jedi.
Yeah, because she has the power within her.
And he says that the Force is with her.
She could have
Yeah.
been his
Oh,
first
exactly.
Padawan.
Yeah, but the Force is with her doesn't necessarily mean that she's trained as a Jedi. Just like she has the Jedi Force within her.
And that's within the canon universe, because in the non-canon, she does deal with stuff.
She does
like that.
wield
Yeah.
a lightsaber eventually.
Yeah. And then she gets so in the trailer right now she gets
And then she
handed
has kids
a lightsaber. So whose lightsaber is she getting handed right now?
It's-
If that's actually even Leia right there.
We're assuming it's Leia by the narration, though.
Yes.
All right, let's go on. Let's
All
see
right,
what's
so next
next.
Though it looks like Vader's lightsaber from this
Oh
image.
boy. But which got lost on Bespin in Empire?
Vader's?
Yeah.
Well, if it's Return of the Jedi saber,
Oh, okay.
then it's
Ugh.
he just
So many
he just
layers.
he just retrieved it from his
Okay.
dying body.
Well, soon
Okay.
after that, we get
We get a shot of some X-wings flying over some water.
I prefer to call them sideways V's kissing wings, but yeah, sure, X-wings if you must.
Fine.
This is a cool, just daytime shot. Get a really good look at the X-wing, and I like it. It's cool. It's classic. It's a nostalgic image.
It's still the same planet as we saw from the first teaser trailer.
Oh yes, when they were breezing across the water.
What is this planet? Do we know?
No, there's no name.
We don't know why they're there. We
Not
don't know
quite
what it
looking
is.
like Naboo.
But it's a forest planet with water that the X-wings are patrolling on for some reason.
Looks like a practice run or
It may,
something.
Yeah.
maybe it could be Yavin for all we know.
But I mean,
They
as we
could've
know,
gone back.
yeah, it could be Yavin, but they're all like giggling and laughing. But
Yeah.
let's move on. This next shot is something that I just pulled because I think it'd be cool to talk about this lightsaber again. We haven't really done that on the website.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think? Derek, we'll start with you. What do you think of this cross saber? Or do they have a name for it, really?
Yeah, I've heard it cross saber. Well, here at the con, I've seen quite a bit of them. So at first, I think the initial fan reaction was that they didn't really like it, and then, but here at the con, there's been quite a few people who really do like it.
I mean, it's beautiful.
As for me, it doesn't make sense, but it makes sense. Because a cross guard, obviously, if someone was like to come down, it doesn't cut your hand. You don't get your hand lost by someone else's blade. But at the same time, you move your hand, you lose your damn hand on the.
Well, it's
on
also
the
like
blade.
I could beat you with one arm behind my back. Maybe it is something that most people can't wield without hurting themselves, but they're just so
like a
badass.
double, like a
that-
double-sided
like
lightsaber.
double side. Yeah, they're just saying, "Hey, I'm a badass. I'm going to do it this
sure
way."
I cut myself in half with that damn thing. So
I think it's cool. Mark, what do you think about this guy?
I mean, I'm kind of riding the coattails of what you're saying, but I think the idea of it is just like it's a very cool image. We don't really understand where it comes from and what the meaning of it is. So like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like for some reason, this Jedi or this Sith has trained in the way that like this lightsaber makes sense for them. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, and this is Kylo Ren, correct?
yes,
The movie's villain. So moving on, that's just a little thing. I think it's cool. Whatever. It's just a lightsaber. Fans love to pick this stuff apart, but I think it looks cool. That's good enough for me.
Yeah. Okay.
This is an intense shot, so there's a lot going on here. Look at little BB-8 go.
Oh, all practical. So being here at the convention, we've seen BB-8
Rolling around.
Yeah.
like actually physically running around. So we can see proof-wise that this is actually a practical.
effect
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah.
And we also learned that there are teeth whitening strips in this universe because those teeth are white as can be.
Chompers.
That's,
So that's okay.
not relevant to anything.
Okay,
This
so
is
what do we have here? We have John Boyega
Sure.
As Finn.
As Finn.
as Finn.
And this is the character Rey by Daisy Riley.
Yeah. So okay, so we
Ridley.
Ridley. Yeah.
Woo!
Oh boy.
Like the
Hey, come on, guys.
Like
These will be household names soon.
Yeah.
Not yet. top left corner, a TIE fighter shooting at him.
Yeah. So we're still learning the whole dynamic between these two because I feel like Rey is a native of this planet.
Well, she looks like a Tusken Raider with that
Whoa.
gaffy stick.
Yeah, running around.
It's not a gaffy stick.
Yeah. And then we have
BB-8 can roll as fast as humans can run.
And then we have Finn, who we still don't really understand the story of. Like, we've seen shots of him as a stormtrooper. We've seen shots of him, like in this more casual outfit. Like,
well, in the panel, they said that he was a stormtrooper.
Right. They confirmed that with J.J. Abrams.
Okay. Exactly. And so you're basically, it looks like he's on the run.
Well, they're saying that.
He
why?
He either witnessed or something happened.
Or he defected or decided that he didn't want to.
And so there's some type of truce. He obviously crash landed on this planet or something happened where now the Empire is after him.
Yeah. Or they don't know he's there and they're going after him.
Well, they obviously know he's there if they got a TIE fighter shooting at him.
Well, true, but I mean, they could be like trying to try to cover their bases, so they're shooting after this one thing, and they don't really care necessarily.
I don't see why they would just go after one lone junker and her robot.
I mean,
we don't
the
know.
point is
Exactly.
we have no clue. They're running from an explosion from the Imperial. So he was a stormtrooper, and now he's running from TIE fighters. Yeah. So there's a shift with the character. That much is known.
Yeah.
Other than that, we don't really know yet.
Yeah. He's a Harrison Ford character in another film.
It could be an awesome idea to feel like him still be loyal to the Empire for like the first half of the movie, but then seeing how the Empire is kind of like just blindly killing everybody, and he's like, oh my god, these guys are horrible.
So he has a conflict of interest.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, maybe I'm not.
That's interesting. That's an interesting dynamic. Let's see what we got next here.
Oh, the Sith of this movie, the first reveal.
This looks cool. This is a really good shot of the main villain, Kylo Ren. I like it. I mean, it's
the first look of his face.
Yeah, because there's only helmet behind.
Yeah, if I'm going to be a negative Nelly, I'm going to say it looks like a glorified ski mask. But I can look past that because it's an interesting character. It's another villain where you're curious what's beneath the mask, kind of like Darth
Vader.
It's also
a Sith Lord, so like where did the Sith come from? Like it's been 30 years.
Do we know
since
he's
Jedi.
a Sith Lord?
Well, he's got a red saber. Doesn't mean he's a Sith Lord.
Like Darth Maul wasn't a Sith Lord.
No, he was.
He was just a Sith, like an apprentice.
But he was still a Sith.
Apprentice. He was a Sith.
The Sith have returned after Jedi.
The Sith never went away, man.
Yeah, they did.
But Maul's brother wasn't a Sith. He was part of a pawn of the Night Sisters.
Mm-hmm.
He was part of.
The Sith are always there.
It's there, and technically, none of them are Siths because Sith is a race.
So we're
coming from Korriban. These are following the practices of them.
So we are calling upon. So that what you just said kind of references the idea that there is more going on than what the movies are expressing. Like Palpatine, Darth Vader died in Jedi, but now
spoiler alert.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry to do that.
They've had 30 years, 20 years.
Not people born yesterday.
Well,
but according to just the movies alone, there were only two Sith. It was Palpatine and Darth Vader. Darth Vader died.
There's
Palpatine
always two.
Died.
There's two. If there's more,
that's it.
You saw what happened
in
Clone Wars.
At the end of Phantom Menace, they said that.
That too.
Yes. So there are other stories that happened beyond those movies. There have been situations where Sith have been, whatever. So now there's a new Sith. We don't know.
We think
there's a new evil.
There's a new evil.
He's backed up by his troopers behind him.
Yeah, which brings on the whole idea we don't know what's going on in this, what's going on in the situation.
I guess he looks all right. He's pretty cool. I'm interested. He's piqued my interest.
He definitely looks like he's from the Old Republic era.
Yeah. Oh, all right, here we go. So we're looking at a bunch of stormtroopers against a big stage with a big flag behind them.
That's exactly what we're all seeing.
Well, I think it definitely looks like a Nazi rally.
So the Empire signal. What is that? The symbol.
Well, it looks like the new Empire.
It's changed.
Insignia.
Yeah.
It's changed.
I think the Rebels and the Empire have new symbols for this movie.
Yeah,
I was seeing something on the floor. Yeah.
So this is a snow planet.
I think the biggest takeaway from this, besides what we're obviously seeing in the picture, is
the person in the
There's
middle?
somebody in the middle, and we don't quite know who that is. It could be somebody nameless, just like rallying the troops. But there is a lot of speculation on who that character is.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any thoughts? Who?
Well, I mean, it's interesting. Oh, go ahead.
It could be a clone of the Emperor himself. I mean,
Yeah.
it happened in the books.
Yeah, but I think personally that they're gonna stray away from what the expanded universe was, and it's now labeled the Legacy Collection.
True.
I don't think they're really. I don't think they're really gonna do that. If they're gonna go with expanded universe stuff, they wouldn't have gone through all the trouble of resetting the canon. They would have probably just said, we're gonna borrow from this and this and this, and those comics
Yeah,
still exist.
exactly.
But it doesn't mean that they could just take the things they like.
They can take things they like. They could do like what they did with the Ultimate Universe with Marvel and just pick out what's cool and what they like. But I just don't. I don't think they're gonna do that. From the panels I've been to here, from the quotes I've been seeing, I think they're trying to just start a completely fresh new path and come up with
Fair
ideas. But I could be wrong.
Yeah.
That's just the feel I get from the vibe of this convention.
Yeah, so what we get from like teaser 2 is that like someone steps up and like takes the void of the Empire and controls all the stormtroopers, and they all rally around them. Like,
yeah, and something cool. This white TIE fighter looks pretty slick, man.
Yeah,
and you can see that there's several different versions. Like, so in the first row you have the actual stormtroopers, and then further in you have the flame troopers, which you could see we saw at the show.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And then in the back you have more of the snow troopers, and then you have like the Imperial gunners.
Yeah, I know.
It's a massive.
As you can see, there has been changes to the TIE fighter. Obviously, it has the white and the
I'll miss that TIE fighter gray.
Yeah,
within the coils or whatever the heck it is.
This kind of
absorbs energy.
So this kind of looks like
it's almost like a rebranding of the Empire to be more appealing.
And
this is
basically it's a new toy they can make. They don't want to.
No, true. It is very true.
And I'm gonna buy that toy.
Of course. I mean,
because it's awesome.
Hang it above your bed.
If anybody was able to make toys, it was Lucas.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Okay.
But we haven't talked about the planet. Is it Hoth?
Well, I want to say yes.
There was mention of them revisiting Hoth.
But again, there are more planets other than planets have sand, planets have snow.
This is very true. Very true.
Okay.
All right.
Moving on.
Oh, well.
This was just a beautiful shot I wanted to grab. She's looking at me, boys. I think this is the new girl next door. I think she's...
Wait, that's Rey, right?
That's Rey. Yeah, I think she's pretty. Yeah.
She kind of looks like she's drinking Emperor's milk.
I just hope, she's a strong female lead. Little girls can look up to her, and she does some cool stuff. Star Wars needs that.
Definitely. I mean, that's why we've had Ahsoka and...
Ahsoka Tano's awesome. She's great. Star Wars and strong female leads. Good match.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, cool. Sorry about that.
Breaking the boundaries of our society.
So this shot.
This is great because the guy in the back ate a Hot Pocket. He's beefing all over that. Look at that. He got that TIE fighter in midair.
So let's talk about this. There's a TIE fighter shooting at a hangar of stormtroopers.
Yes.
So obviously someone has jumped into the TIE fighter and turned against the group, or what's going on?
I don't know.
I mean, you well,
those could be two really long lightsabers on the left.
Well, okay, so we have the whatever these shuttles are
on the right
back corner.
Okay.
Which we may see later on in the trailer. So you could either have it that Finn has infantry, or this is why he's fled, is that he was sick of it.
He turned against the stormtroopers.
Exactly. Or we have the rebel pilot, Bodan. What's his?
Bodan.
That's not on my list.
Poe Dameron?
Poe Dameron. There
you
go.
Yeah, Poe Dameron.
Sorry, I gave the...
Oh, yeah.
What did you say?
Bodan.
Bodan. That's a bread. That's a bread company in San Francisco.
It's the southern version.
My takeaway from this is Abrams is going to be doing his classic action. It's going to be some good explosions.
Hey, can we talk about how beautiful this shot is? Like,
it's a beautiful screen grab.
Yeah, like we got like a great.
It's an awesome shot, and one thing I've noticed that none of both the teaser trailers have lens flares.
Oh well. I think he's going to stay very far away from those lens flares.
Well, his wife did tell him to turn it down. I heard the last
his wife and then, like, everyone on the
Well,
internet.
it looks like he's turned it off, not down. So yeah, that's a good point. I haven't seen any.
You also have what may be an imperial officer down at the bottom corner. Or
Well, I mean, it seems like they were all taken by guard. Like they were taken off guard by this. Like they were all just hanging out in the hangar, and then all of a sudden some dudes started shooting on them.
Yeah, you don't really see who's like fighting who. You just see stormtroopers like, ah!
But then you see a TIE fighter shooting at them, so it's like, what up, dog?
yeah.
Okay, well, that's just a cool shot.
Oh, okay. I like the shot.
So here we have Finn taking off his helmet, but I was able to grab the still, and there's blood. And I don't know if in the original version of Return of the Jedi there was blood, but you can see Solo with blood on his hands when he touches Leia after she's shot at the Battle of Endor.
To be fair, the culture we live in now is extremely desensitized, so something like this is absolutely nothing. It's just a little blood stain.
But it's a huge step forward in the Star Wars movie.
Well, I don't know about that, because you're comparing it to Episode 3, where someone chopped off 2 legs and an arm in one fell swoop, and then a boiling vat of lava.
But then when you have a scene
while he was screaming, "Master, I love you!"
But when you have a scene where a stormtrooper's taking off his mask and there's a blood finger stain smear on his face, that's
Finn, man.
Well, I think it's just showing that this film is darker.
Yes.
It's a good indication that they're going to take it a little bit darker and more mature and not candy
and more realistic. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Good.
Agreed.
Oh. So that's not a Star Destroyer. Are
these practical effects? Do you think they're models, or is this CG?
This is CG.
Yeah.
Okay. So what kind of ship is that?
Well, it's a version of a Star Destroyer. It's whatever the new
norm.
Yeah, and then we have the what do you call it? Like the
they obviously haven't learned about field generators and
yeah, they're gonna. That's the shield generator. They can blow that ball right up. That's the easiest thing.
I've seen it blow up twice.
Yeah.
Too late.
Learn from your mistakes. You'd think by now they wouldn't have it, but it looks cool. It's nostalgic, so they're gonna throw it in there.
So now
maybe it's a trick.
Recognize it.
Maybe that's just like, there goes our sauna.
And then you blow it up, and exactly. So that was our locker room.
So here we have those ships that were in the back of the bay.
In the middle.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
When Finn or whoever is blowing up the bay, so this shot's probably actually takes place before that explosions in the bay.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Could this be the new villain ship?
Like in the middle.
So he's being like the escorts.
Yeah, it's like an escort. It's kind of like replacing the shuttle Tidarian or whatever the Imperial shuttle is actually called.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah,
it's an interesting shot. Cool ships.
Yeah.
More toys.
More toys. Oh, the Chrome Stormtrooper.
I don't know. He's not chrome. He's actually black.
Every time there's a new picture, you're like an ant. That's
I get so excited.
It's like, ooh.
I've seen this trailer like 1,000 times, and I'm all like, oh, this thing. Okay.
Well, so there's a few things here. I'll start because I think you guys have a little bit more to say than me. I just think this is a really cool, badass shot of somebody that's kind of like a marriage between a stormtrooper and a bounty hunter, and I don't know who's under there. We've speculated it could be a Fett. It could be like someone like, that's going to be tearing through the script of the movie trying to hunt somebody down. Yeah. Maybe Finn's on the run for something, like, you get back in your outfit. But who knows? He's cool. The design's cool.
The Royal Guard of the Stormtroopers. So the thing that we're breaking down is like, yeah, the character looks amazing, but like the set he's walking on,
like, where are we?
Yeah, it's like a ship, but then there's like a rock face on the left. So we've seen earlier with the stormtroopers with the flag and the come on, help me out.
Derek, all right. So there was talk that on the floor at the con that they were thinking that this is inside the Star Destroyer, which doesn't make a lot of sense because
there's rocks.
There's rocks, but it's not like it's
still powered.
It's not ripping through the ship.
Yeah.
This looks like it's inside a base.
A base built into a mountain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as you saw in the shot with the stormtroopers in front of the flag and everything, that is built into the side of a mountain. So this is clearly where that's probably at.
So this guy's just being grumpy.
It's like a chunk of that. What is it? The aggro crag?
Possibly.
Mo, show them what we've won.
So
cool stormtrooper bounty hunter.
And as you were saying about touching on the Fett, I think the original design for Fett was that he was a super trooper. Basically, he was like the elite version of the stormtrooper, and I think they turned him into a bounty hunter instead. So I get that sense that he's like the more ultimate version of a trooper,
or if that shows to become a bounty hunter.
Why he's black.
I mean, the way he's walking though in this trailer, I don't think it's.
But there's that homage of like with the.
I don't think
one
it's.
Over the arm.
I don't think it's going to be Boba Fett proper. I think it's going to be a character that is going to I think when they're making the script for this movie, they're trying to be like, okay, we need like need like a Harrison Ford, we need a Emperor, we need a Sith. You know, like I think this is the Boba Fett character.
Or they need like a character who's like a background,
just like a match.
Yeah, like a badass character who just happens to be like.
It's like, hey guys, we're gonna make another trilogy. We didn't know Boba Fett was gonna be good. People really respond to that. So let's just get a new ultimate.
So let's make a guy in the background who just walks around who ends up being like the greatest thing ever.
He looks cool.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All
right.
Oh, BB-8.
BB-8.
BB got back. That's cool. I like him. I think he's cute. When we watched the first teaser that came out a while ago, I saw BB-8 in that opening shot, and I thought it was like a fake trailer. I was like, oh, this is stupid. So soccer ball robot, cool. But after seeing him here at the celebration live, knowing that he's a practical effect, I think he's really cool. I think he's a cool character, so we threw the shot in there to say, oh, he's cute.
So we're going to talk about where he's at?
He's in the Falcon.
He's in the Falcon.
Totally the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, so obviously, somehow he gets on the Falcon, which I guess is still up and running.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah.
There it is.
Oh, okay. Oh, I guess it is up and running.
So the first thing for this is, okay, so we've established that there's going to be a lot of practical effects in this movie, but there's also going to be a crap ton of digital effects, and these kind of shots are really pretty amazing, and I think they look good. And I think as long as we can balance the digital effects with the practical effects, that's the key. Get a healthy balance going. Yeah. And space battles, while I like the practical effects, I think it's more than proper to have these sequences in CG.
Yeah, definitely, I agree with you. Like we had that, I think, the perfect blend with episode 1 where CG and the models came together, and it was almost seamless because there was still that limitation. We've come a long way since then, but the believability isn't always there. So it would be nice to see a little bit more of that.
Yeah, this is cool. So the Millennium Falcon's flying through this crashed ship with TIE fighters chasing him, and this is obviously a nod back to what?
Empire?
The battle...
Jedi?
Well, the battle of... Well, yeah, definitely. It's the battle of Endor when the Falcon flew through the
Death Star.
The Death Star, yeah.
Which is cool. You know, I think there's a lot of... I don't want to say tricks, but just a lot of nods to the original trilogy here visually. We'll get to more of that later too, but you know, this is one of them. This is like, okay, this is original trilogy stuff going on. It's cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Badass.
I like just the small details. Like there's like the red stripes going down the face, and like one tube connected, not both, and just the little colors and knobs. You know, we're coming back to the Star Wars where there looks like functional crafts again.
I think J.J. Abrams had a really difficult job of... So the prequels... The thing is, they had technology that seemed more advanced than the original films.
It was the golden era.
Right? Yeah. So now,
think of it as like the 1920s. I mean, they pull from that a lot, the Art Deco. And things were very sleek, clean, and then you go into a period of war where things need to be functional, but not aesthetically pleasing.
And it's what the fans like, but you know, you can't really complain about the prequels not having that, because that just wasn't the time and place there. I think that being so clean and polished in the prequels makes the other movies just that much better. Because,
it makes sense.
Because it's just a visual tone to the movie, and I think it's cool that, you know, this is episode 7. We're going right back to it. The prequels are over, which, you know, I love the prequels, but now we're back to the aesthetic that the fans really have come to love, which is dirty, broken, but functional.
Exactly. And J.J. Abrams has to balance the idea of, like, technology established in the prequels, but like what would happen in this time frame right here.
Yeah.
And he's doing a great job apparently from this shot.
And advancing it.
Yeah. This shot's proof that it's in good hands. The interior shots of these ships looks awesome.
Great hands.
It definitely feels like we're in that battle in Yavin when you got to see the inside shot cockpit shots when they were, blowing up the X-wings or Y-wings or things like that. So
Right on. Well, this is a solid, super crisp shot. I love it.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
There you go,
again.
Aunt Mark.
But this
Ooh,
is
you graduated.
Oh, here we go.
Mm.
Let me get a crisp $5 bill.
Ooh. Okay, so
come on, seriously.
can I say the first thing about this?
Of course
I
you
want to
can.
get it off my chest. Okay, can I be Harrison Ford?
Sure.
Yeah.
Chewie, you've done a good job conditioning your hair for 30 years.
Can I be Chewie?
Sure.
You haven't.
Hey now. That's Han Solo, man.
He looks good.
So,
for
he looks good, yes.
73.
And let's be honest, the first thing that I think most of us out there, and you might admit it, you might not, you might be listening to this and saying, no,
No.
I shed a tear when I saw this shot.
Yes.
Oh, this was like the nerd dream come true, seeing Harrison Ford back on the big screen
And he's saying we're home
as
again.
Han.
And I was in this theater, I was in the hall at the convention here, and throughout the trailer, it was just so good. The energy was so good. I was tearing up a little bit. And then when this shot popped on and he said his line, tears dropped down my face. And I felt so bad about it. I was sitting next to you, Derek. But I looked at you to see like if you saw me. And you were weeping over there.
Oh, definitely.
It's
definitely.
huge. It's a huge moment.
It was a huge moment. No trailer has really done that for me.
Not in the last...
Not quite like that.
No, probably
This
not
was-
since the Star Wars.
I mean, I remember seeing the Phantom Menace trailer, right?
It was amazing.
It was great.
But it was like cool.
But it was like, okay, this is what's going to happen now. But then we saw this trailer,
but
and
this,
it's like...
this captures your childhood.
But
Yes.
but also look at like you mentioned the childhood. This is an iconic shot of the two, even back in the original
Oh, yeah,
trilogy area.
definitely.
So they're really
It's almost shot for shot.
they're almost manipulating the audience by really
Well,
pulling out these.
giving
these-
the imagery that we are used to, that we've seen before.
Yes, that's what I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, okay. Well, I'm just helping you get
What are we dating now?
there. Yes.
So you can see that Han has actually updated his outfit. He's now wearing a leather,
Oh.
almost like an Indiana Jones nod.
Yeah,
Oh, no, don't do that to me.
almost.
Okay, can we talk about the scene? Well, so real quick, Chewie, we're home. Makes it seem like they haven't been...
we're home.
They haven't been on the
The Millennium Falcon.
The Millennial Falcon.
Sound it out.
The Millennial.
Millennium
What is
Falcon. So what happens? Like, where does the Falcon go for the past 30 years? Like, who has it been with?
Listen, this breakdown video isn't that long.
Well, yeah. Well,
Okay, where's it been for 30 years? Okay, here we go. Year one.
No, but I'm saying
Falcon.
it's like it makes like
Well,
they've been
who knows?
reunited with their ship, so it's like wow. Okay,
we may see what happens in the Marvel's Han Solo comic.
maybe
Right.
like they lost the Falcon and like for
I-
some reason.
I
If
don't-
there is a Han Solo comic.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
I mean, there's a Lando one coming out, they announced.
yeah, exactly. Maybe.
But, Star Wars is the bread and butter of this comic book relaunch with Marvels, and that's really Han, Leia, and Luke. And it's good. But the point is, Chewbacca looks super young and dapper, and he hasn't aged a bit.
yeah, there's no grays.
There's no grays. I think it'd be cool if he had a little grays. And something else to note, okay, he's got a life debt, right? Let the dude, is he free of that? Or is he still like, follow me?
Well, I don't think that Han ever really held him to it.
Maybe initially.
I don't think so.
I think they're bros.
I
think
never
he's like-
you never got that sense in any of the movies.
Not like-
it just felt like an odd couple.
I just want to know if there's any, paper documentation that the life debt is still still intact.
Yeah,
Or
because
did he-
Chewie's only following Han because
it's
he
it's
has
cool.
to.
He's still
Come on,
rocking the
man.
bow.
Yeah,
they're
he's got the
buddies.
bowcaster. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
They're hanging out because they're bros. They're not hanging out because Chewie's like, oh well, we have a
I get that. I'm just talking about the
league.
legality of it.
Oh, okay.
I'm just talking paperwork. What if there's an accident? What if someone dies? They're doing some crazy stuff. The legality of it. Who's getting that bowcaster?
I'm pretty sure Han has something written down on a piece of paper in one of those
You can't
many
be like,
pouches.
I followed that ragamuffin for years. I should have the bowcaster. Is there a legal document?
That makes no sense. So
Well, read a book. It might make some sense. Okay, so moving on. This is the shot. Money shot. Love it. Star Wars
There it
The
is.
Force Awakens coming out when? December 16th? Is that correct?
It just
18th?
did they announce?
There's a
14th?
date. Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
date. We just don't know anything.
we know,
What do we-
it's coming out Christmas time.
It said Christmas in the trailer.
Go to imdb.com and it says it. So here it is. That's our breakdown of the Star Wars The Force Awakens trailer here in Anaheim, California. I think that was about all we have to say now. We'll probably do this again later.
Sorry if we missed anything.
Well,
sorry if we said something that upset you, but you're gonna say it in the comment section, and then we'll ignore it.
We can ignore that.
Yeah.
Star Wars: The Force Awakens. I'm Jason Fury, joined by Mark Espinosa, Derek Hansen for NeverEndingRadicalDude.com. Signing off. We'll see you next time. Stay tuned. We got more coverage from the convention and a lot of really cool videos coming out. We decided to approach this convention in a pretty different way. So please stay tuned for some of our content coming up. And I look forward to seeing more from Star Wars. Thanks, everybody. Peace.
Peace.